Okay, good morning and welcome to this morning's session, which is how to deliver valuable member engagement. It's going to be delivered by NetExtra. Just to kind of walk you through a couple of housekeeping bits. Welcome everyone, if this is your first session. Welcome if you're watching this back on demand. Welcome to you too. If you're watching live, there's a chance to kind of ask us questions and stuff, so I'll explain some bits for that. If you're watching this embedded in the platform, you can adjust the volume, you can adjust the size of the screen to fill your screen, or kind of adjust that to however suits you. You can also, on the right hand side, you'll see the chat function there. If you have any comments throughout the presentation, you can drop thoughts in there. If you've got any questions that you want to ask, and we'll kind of cover those at the end, do type them in there and I'll feed those in at the end. So to introduce you, this morning's presentation is from NetExtra, and it's going to be delivered by Melissa Wiggins, who is the Head of Client Strategy at NetExtra. And as if by magic, she appears on screen. So I'll hand over to Melissa to introduce herself and to start this morning's session.
Thanks, James. Yeah, so I work with NetExtra's clients just as a value-added service whereby I can feed into any area of strategy or just talk about their plans moving forwards and help them to make progress really and to achieve their goals. So for those who haven't met me before or don't know much about NetExtra, we partner with organisations in the NFP space to understand their business and provide strategic insight. Our work includes development of digital audience engagement tools such as websites and mobile apps, which integrate into other systems to provide that data-driven, personalised user experience that we're all looking for to add value to our members. So today's webinar is on adding value through audience engagement, and it comes off the back of a pretty extreme year. 2020 has been a year of juxtaposition. What I mean by that is that there's been the obvious alongside the unexpected, and we've found opportunities emerging out of challenges. I wanted to try and make this webinar as engaging as possible, and so I asked an array of membership organisations and charities to share their experiences and learnings with us. So whilst I'm no Oprah Winfrey, some brilliant membership and marketing professionals were willing to be interviewed, which we'd like to share with you this morning. Whilst we all know how important delivering valuable member engagement is, what it looks like and how it's achieved isn't always obvious, except for when it is. If we were trying to sum up valuable member engagement in a single sentence, it would probably be giving your members what they need when they need it. It's no more profound than that, but the story does start somewhere. It starts with knowing what members need. So I asked Darren Taylor, Marketing and Communications Manager at the British Association of Landscape Industries, for some tips from his experiences of learning what members need through conducting member surveys. So hopefully, by the magic of television, I will be able to show you this video now. Bear with. Hopefully you can see that, and James will tell me if you can't. And hopefully you can hear it too.
Not yet. You go back into share screen. Oh, there we go. Something. Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
That's popped up.
Okay.
Thing with surveys, we've learned the hard way, I think, again, like many people over the years, and we've kind of hopefully fine-tuned it a little bit now. So we do get sort of an average of about 20–30% and response rate, which is pretty good for the size of our business. And the way we do that is we use tools like SurveyMonkey. That's a platform we have used in the past and we do use currently, and that's quite good at telling you what the estimation of completion rate is. So we do take that seriously, and we take their advice on what type of question formats, so how the question's written. More importantly, how easy is it for the respondent to answer that question? That's a huge one. A lot of people miss that. And the overall design of it for mobile, again, another thing that people miss. So a lot of people design surveys on desktop and don't consider the benefits, the implications on different screen sizes. And of course, if you think a survey is long on desktop, you wait to see it on mobile. So that's something, it sounds simple, but so many people don't consider that. And then I think the final thing for us is obviously the length of the survey, and breaking that down into bite-sized sections. one thing we are looking to do in the future is actually, rather than do one big annual survey year, we're going to do 1 or 2 questions a month. So we're going to do sort of more instantaneous response questions rather than have this whole, sit down for 20 minutes and answer these questions.
Barley are also dedicated to adding value to membership through providing opportunities, and are really good at playing back the value of membership to members using tools such as their member dashboard, which enables members to keep tabs on the amount of times their profile has been displayed in search results. I asked Darren to talk to us a little bit about the value of opportunities.
Yeah, I think it's about the visibility for them as a brand, and the only way they get that in an industry where we're quite a small industry in the grand scheme of the sectors in the UK. Although the footprint, the contribution is huge. It's, £24 billion to the GDP in 2018. So it's a significant sector, and landscape services, which is a portion of that. So you could, when I mean landscape services, so garden design, landscaping, as you know, equates to about 11.5 billion of that 24 billion. So it's a good portion. Now, those businesses come to us looking for advice on who else they can contact and meet and network. So as an opportunity for them to grow and expand their business through contacts, and they use Barley as a ways of doing that.
So they've got, you've got a member directory, haven't you, where they have profiles and they can add information, testimonials and portfolio content. I saw that you ran some training to help people to optimize their profiles. How successful was that? Yeah,
that was good. So we get a lot of questions asking about, how do we add, as you say, Melissa, a testimonial, or how do we link our member profile to an event or a news item, or how do we add even things like meet the team or accreditations. So we thought, rather than answering each point separately, which was quite time prohibitive for both parties, we did record the webinar. And it's funny because up till this year, we used to do probably about 5 webinars a year, I would say. But this year we've done 50 plus. So it's almost tenfold in the amount that we've done. And that one particular webinar you mentioned was very successful in the fact that it's reduced the amount of calls into the business, which frees us up then to help members in other areas, because people are they're almost self-teaching themselves, which is what we kind of want them to do. We want it to be a self-efficient association rather than a sort of reliance on us as a team.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And so what kind of tools and techniques are you looking at, have you seen have added value to that engagement and that you're looking to use moving forwards?
I think for us, so the kind of digital communication, we used to have reliance on physical events, which I think a portion of the membership has missed and will continue to miss. And there are various team members within Barley that can't wait to get back out there in the field, as it were. But I think we will always now, regardless of whether we continue as in the way that we are from a digital perspective, so 80-90% of our business is now conducted online, if not more, and that I think will maintain. So I think what we'll end up doing is, with our regional events and our member events, I could imagine we would probably have maybe not quite as many as 50 a year when we start moving out of COVID, but I think 30 webinars, 30 webinars a year will become the standard for us. So I think webinars would become the standard. The other area, of course, that we are looking to grow in is SMS. Now, it's an area that not many people really utilize these days. You could argue a little bit old-fashioned, but in terms of our membership, when we've sort of surveyed them in the past, we mentioned earlier in the interview that the best way of getting them out there on the tools in the field, and actually send them a text, because actually a very short worded text with a link to an event that they can reserve a place on without having to go through the whole booking process, so they get to confirm their place within seconds. That's where we need to be. So we've identified that through this process. So we've gone through this year, and I think out of all the things we've learned, it's all about speed and efficiency through that communication. They don't have time to read our communication, so we've got to make it as simple as possible.
For the optimists amongst us, we choose to believe that we are coming through this difficult season, and the stormy skies we've been navigating just might have some silver linings. I took the opportunity to ask Tori Priestley, Marketing Director at the National Hair and Beauty Federation, about their experiences this year and how they've been able to take a proactive approach, not only to representing their members, but also the industry at large.
Social media has grown up beyond what we would have anticipated for this year. Instagram, we started off 5,500 followers. I think this weekend, after the latest news from the Prime Minister, we have now hit 72,000 followers on Instagram. And Facebook, I think we grew from 14,000 followers, and we're now on about 85,000 likes on Facebook. And that comes with the shares, the comments. That's not just people who have clicked like on our page. They are posting comments, they are sharing our posts, and and direct messaging us as well. So
I've seen pretty consistently that you've had posts that are, you know, getting like 900 likes and 200 comments and stuff like that. And I saw one the other day that had 1,800 likes and 550 odd comments. I mean, that's pretty unprecedented engagement, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's nothing that we would have ever expected before. And obviously, this is not the way we would have liked to have got these followers. Obviously, it would have been great to have sourced these without a global pandemic. But you have to take the silver linings, and the silver linings is that the NHBF's name has now got out there. More of the industry are aware of us and what we do, and have actually relied on what we've been doing as well. Our statements, I think I'd been explained to as a lifeline to someone the other day, of that they don't know where they would have been without just being able to log in and know that we would have provided the latest information to what has happened, or what is happening, or what is planning on going to be happening.
So 85,000 followers on Facebook. That sounds like it might be more than your current membership.
Oh, yeah. So we started off at about 5,500 members the end of February. During this time, that has grown. We've probably got now 1,800 new members since the pandemic started for us.
How about translating that, you know, engagement from non-members into converting them into membership?
Well, the majority of members that have come through and using the simple heard about tab when joining have come through from social media. That has been the main reason that they heard about us. So yeah, we feel that our daily statements have definitely helped not only the industry but also our membership rates as well.
You've kind of taken some more progressive steps as well to kind of using the content that you generate and, you know, translating that value for prospective members into actual members?
Yeah, so we do a lot of bespoke guides that are specific for members, and they're predominantly for members only. We do have blogs that are available to non-members as well, but we done a specific guide for translating the guidelines that were produced by the government and preparing businesses back into work. And so, yeah, we came up with a guide, a back to business guide, which we put out, and actually it crashed the website, which no reflection on NetExtra at all. I don't think any of us could have predicted that we were going to have that amount of traffic come through. And the way that our system works is that they have to set up an account, which obviously is our CRM. So I think our CRM and our website couldn't have predicted the traffic that we had got, but we had got 33,000 downloads I think, of that guide, and that has also generated probably about 25,000 new leads for us of people wanting to sign up to our non-member newsletter as well. So for future marketing of the NHBF and the services, that's obviously a great tool, an asset that we've got now as well from producing this free document, which we thought it was valuable to not only give to members, of course, but this turned into a bigger issue than just for our members. This was an industry issue, and we wanted to ensure that our members and the industry were going back as safely as possible, and we wanted the industry to remain open, so everyone having as much of the facts as possible of what they needed to know to be safe and do it right and comply with the guidelines was really important to us.
We're looking forward to seeing more great engagement from NHBF as they launch their new member dashboard and app over the coming months, which is really aimed at making a relevant immediate connection. Another organisation to whom making a relevant immediate connection is really important is the Rail and Maritime Transport Workers Union. Last year, General Secretary Metcash asked us how they could reach out to young workers in a more relevant way. That discussion led to us developing and launching an app for RMT, which, in addition to aiding Nick's re-election campaign, has also had a massive impact on their member engagement. They had 5,000 member downloads in the initial week of launch. They have 80,000 members for context, and they've seen 132% increase in subscribers to their newsletter and 4 times the number of people visiting their online joining pages, which has been somewhat of an unexpected but happy outcome. They're using the app to generate a sense of immediacy around their engagement with push notifications, mobilising members to support campaigns and take action. The pandemic has pushed membership organisations to make more relevant immediate connections with members, which is setting behaviour for the long term. The Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons uphold and advance the educational, ethical and clinical standards of the veterinary profession. So the support their members have expected of them this year has been significant in terms of providing timely, relevant guidance. Their Senior Communications Officer, Christine James, took some time to talk to me about that and how social media has changed the way they engage significantly.
So have you had people kind of constantly monitoring social media so that you could make sure that you were responding more quickly? Is that something you were doing before or something you've done as a response?
Yeah, we were doing that on a daily basis. So it was constantly being monitored so we could see the types of discussions that were taking place, the responses to our posts, to see whether there were questions that we hadn't yet answered and new material that that would be useful to put together to kind of address any concerns that members had. So yeah, we were constantly taking that on board and using that to form our future communications.
That's a really brave and agile approach to for an organisation like RCVS. How have you found that?
It's certainly been very challenging. It's been an extremely busy period for us all. Especially with everyone working from home. So we've had to adapt a lot of changes ourselves within the team. But I think we've really all pulled together to do the best that we can during this period. And I think we've certainly noticed that's paid dividends in terms of the member engagement that we've had and the way we've been able to get out important messages to our members. We've had a massive increase in traffic to our website. I think 80% increase on the same period last year. Our email communications have been really great as well. We've had a big increase on the open rate there, 15% in comparison to our usual comms. So I think the different methods that we've tried to connect with people have really worked, and because of the critical time that we're in, I think getting the right information out there is so important to enable our members to do the work that they need to do safely, in the knowledge that they're doing the right thing.
Celiac UK have also been working extremely hard to engage and support their diverse community of members, researchers, commercial partners, healthcare professionals, donors, fundraisers and volunteers in extreme circumstances this year. Annette Woolman, their Director of Membership and Services and Volunteering, talked to me a bit about how they've been using digital to do that.
So our volunteers are remarkable, and what they like to do is be there in person for our community at local level, and they haven't been able to do that. So whilst the priority for us was making sure that they were kept safe this year, they have been wanting to continue supporting their community the best way that they can. So we've helped to mobilise them to be more digital. We've supported them through their social media platforms. We've also given them additional training and the capability to host virtual meetings, which is something that they're very capable of doing, but it's not their preferred way of interacting with their community. And also we've invested in some cyber-safe training, because there's more of a demand for them to do things digitally. We wanted to make sure that they felt capable and they understood the security issues that can come into play. So as such, we're going to be bringing that into next year. We're looking at a new proposition anyway for our volunteers, and this has just helped streamline some of those ideas and seeing what is achievable and pushing that a bit beyond what we have now.
I know some of the exciting plans because we're obviously involved in some of them. So like the kind of app side of things, do you want to talk to us a little bit more about the kind of strategy behind that and the kind of member engagement or audience engagement focus?
Yep, so we have our gluten-free food checker app and our gluten-free on the move app. So one helps with shopping and food, and the other helps with eating out, and both apps are really valued within our community, so that's really positive. And now it's really about looking at the whole journey and experience. So as I said before about bringing in the non-member community, it's supporting that journey further through our app proposition, and whether or not we or how we include our volunteers and make it easier for them to engage with us through app development and also fundraising, but also using that broader community to hook them into the information that we provide. They may look at our website, but they may not use it regularly, but they may be looking more for an app to support for their information. So it's really looking at that broader community and developing our app proposition to really work for that experience. Yes, really nail down exactly what you want to achieve. For Celiac UK, as you've mentioned, we have a really broad community, so it's quite easy to get lost down different avenues about what you want to achieve with your proposition. It will take the whole organisation's input to really define what your priorities are for an app. So much can be done and delivered through an app. It's really exciting for an organisation to develop one, but really finalise your priorities, and then that should keep you on that pathway. But also work with a provider that understands what you want to achieve, and find a provider that is willing to challenge you on those priorities. That's what you really need to do, because you want to make the best experience for your community. You need that expertise. It's going to take investment, so you need to make sure it's the right investment. So many members love having the opportunity to trial things on your behalf. They love being that focus group or that test bed, to feel that they've really contributed to those developments. So, you know, you've got an engaged audience. Really use them because they'll be willing to.
So 5 takeaways for valuable member engagement for the foreseeable future. 1, be prepared to adapt and change plans to adjust to members' needs. 2, provide strategically positioned, clear guidance in a way that's accessible. 3, Deliver tools and benefits that make life easier. 4. Engage with real issues in real time and encourage members with good news stories and vision for the future. 5. Be where your audience are, even when that means supporting your organisation on the front line of social media. It pays off. So I'd like to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to Annette, Christine, Darren and Tori for their contributions.
Okay, thanks for that, Melissa. If you want to pop your video back on, hopefully you're still there. Yes, you are. Hello. That was a really, it's a short, sharp session this morning with lots of examples there of lots of different ways that different membership organisations have engaged with their members this year. I suppose the only real question I've kind of to add to that would be kind of if you could talk a little bit about kind of NetExtra's role in the kind of things you've been able to do to help those your different kind of clients, membership organisation clients, to deliver on those sorts of engagement activities.
Yeah, well, it's been very varied, I think, our role this year, providing support in many different ways, and that includes everything from helping organisations to move to paperless direct debits when they found themselves unable to process paperwork. So that's been, you know, quite a major shift for a lot of organisations, and moving lots of things online that they've previously done more manually, automating things where we can. Darren referred to utilising texts, and whilst he kind of said that that might be perceived as being an old-fashioned way of doing things, actually the stats around that are quite remarkable. And I recently wrote a piece that anyone who's interested can take a look at on that subject on our blog. But yeah, I think providing more support. So I had to laugh when Tori talked about the fact that the 33,000 downloads of the guide actually pushed the website over the edge, because the integration with the CRM enables them to register their details in order to download these guides. So obviously we weren't quite anticipating 33,000 downloads. So it's times like that where, you know, we react immediately. Obviously we get a system alert that says the site's gone down, we're there, we add more resource and we make sure that it's back up and running as quickly as possible. So there's that kind of practical infrastructure support as well. And then obviously the more strategic side of things. So for a lot of organisations kind of embarking on the journey of social media and changing their comms plan altogether has been quite scary. So you might have gathered from the kind of bits of banter and smiles and laughs that that obviously I work with these people quite a lot, and we talk a lot to make sure that you know, we're providing the kind of support and insight that they need, and also just sharing situations and scenarios and learnings from other businesses, other organisations that we're working with, that say, no, you're not going mad, you're not on your own, there are other people dealing with this, this is what we've done for them, this might work for you. And I liked the fact that Darren also referred to the fact that they're changing the way they do their surveys. I think Darren's one of the people who's my loyal insights follower, actually. I think he actually reads the content that I put out, because I was talking quite recently about surveys and about the fact that you know, rather than doing one massive monolithic survey a year, you probably get much better engagement rates and interaction if you do it in kind of small chunks that are easily accessible and easily completable. And they say the ideal is about 12 questions that can be answered in 7 minutes. So, you know, where we've got information like that and we can share it with organisations to help them see engagement improve, then we're obviously doing that. There's been a lot around helping organisations with whether an app is the right thing for them to pursue. We launched the Connect app product last year for RMT, and obviously it's been really successful since launched other apps for other organisations. But whilst they have a kind of functionality, each one has really unique properties that are tools specific to that organisation's membership needs. So there's no point delivering a tool that that is irrelevant. It needs to be adding value to the membership and to the organisation. So a lot of my work has been around talking to organisations, the kind of tools and resources that their members need access to, and where we could really add value. What kind of things that could be personalised would really bring a return and kind of reinforce the value of membership to help with that retention, and also, you know, retention has a member get member knock-on effect in terms of acquiring more members. So lots of diverse things. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for a really interesting session this morning. Just to mention, I think you said you're going to have the interviews, those 4 different interviews in full on your YouTube channel, which we're going to add to this session page. So if you're watching this live, you can go back and watch this session on demand. So you can go back and check out the top tips and listen back to the interviews. If you're watching this on demand already, they may already be up on the lower down on the session page. Under this video, there'll be links to the full interviews of those 4 interviewees that we'll add on later on. So yeah, just a big thank you to Melissa and NetExtra for this morning, and we'll see you all again at the next session in the programme.
Thanks, James.